I don't know when this video is gonna go up. Hopefully it'll be up maybe a couple days before the election comes, but man, oh man, has this election cycle been one hell of a drain, especially on us as the black collective. It's like damn near it's taking us through like 6 degrees of separation, pulling us all in different directions, everywhere to hell and back, and then we get to repeat the cycle all over again. But I truly believe that when it comes to the black male voter in particular, we have been going through it probably the absolute most, in some of the most tackiest of ways from jump. I mean, just look at how everything really kicked off in this cycle from both sides of the aisle, but especially with that usual side of the aisle, which is the Democratic side, because throughout history, well, throughout the last few decades, we've seen how that has turned out, and it really never ever really truly turned out the best way for us in particular. So I decided to go ahead and just do my own little digital field test on 2 different platforms, and the results that I came back with will probably not shock you, but some it might, but not everyone is probably going to be shocked by this. But to be honest, I was a little bit shocked because of how similar the results were. So I decided to go ahead and take a random poll and put it up onto X just out of a whim. I said, let me go ahead and put this up here and see what the results are going to be. I posted up, if Kamala Harris loses this election, who is catching the most strays? Black men, black women, or the black collective? And you can see it has 892 votes. It says 8 hours left, but honestly, the results really aren't going to change that much from what you see on your screen. As a matter of fact, black men is probably just going to go up even higher, because if you look at it, that's really what it's going to turn out to be. I left it up there for 8 hours. I should have just cut it off instead of leaving it up for a whole day, but you know what? I said, let me just go ahead and entertain my audience and let them go at it. And man, did they go at it. Under the comment section, basically airing out their grievances. I posted it up at 12:15 a.m. That is very important as we continue to go through this. So it said with black men 72.4%, black women 2.9%, and the black collective 24.7%. So they're telling you right off the bat, and this is coming from my followers on X, that they believe that if Kamala Harris loses this election, black men overwhelmingly are going to catch the most strays when it comes to her loss in this election. I want y'all to hold on to that as we revert briefly to the other poll that I conducted, but this time on my community tab on YouTube. So this was over on YouTube. It's the same exact one. I said, if Kamala Harris loses the election, who is catching the most strays? Over here, black men 70%, black women 2%, the black collective 27%. The numbers are almost damn near identical to the one that I did over there on X, like literally almost mirroring each other. It's a slight percentage higher over on X, but it's not much of a difference. It's like maybe a 2 or 3% difference depending on which category you're looking at. And these polls, and that's why I said pay attention to the time, were taken or conducted hours apart. Like I said, on X, I posted it up at 12:15 a.m. on October 19, 2024. The one that I posted up on YouTube was the same day, but it was hours later, maybe around 8 or something in the morning. It was at a time when I woke up, and I just said, let me go ahead and post it over here to see what the results will be over here, because some people may follow me on X but not on YouTube, or some people, or vice versa, or maybe a combination of both. But ironically, the results were almost mirroring each other as far as each one that was listed, which basically tells me that everyone, number one, overwhelmingly believes that black men are going to catch the most strays, and number two, that black women are going to catch the least. And the collective, well, that's a toss-up because it falls in between. But overwhelmingly, they're prepared to blame black men. And what's crazy is I was just having this discussion with my parents about this, and it's probably one of the best conversations I've had with them as it pertains to this election cycle, is that they're getting tired of them always bringing up black men as far as what the voting goes and all this type of stuff like that in the fashion that they're bringing them up in. And I said, I agree with you, because they know how to hit that proverbial button. But I said, I'm glad they brought that up, because now I believe I figured out why they're doing this. I truly believe, but before I actually get into why I believe that, keep in mind, of what Magic Johnson has said. You know, I did a video on that. What Obama has said and what I said about him. And then, of course, what Sunny Hostin said, you know, that comment she said about these crazy, ridiculous black men and what I had to say about that, and address her and how disrespectful she's been. Take all of that, what has been said, and just dump it into the digital media or mainstream media ether on top of what everyone else says. What it is an onslaught. They are prepared to blame black men if this woman loses this election. And what's crazy is, if she was to win, then black men won't even get any of the praise. They won't. I'm telling you, that is not going to happen. They're going to shift and pivot right on back and say how much black women did. I know exactly what they're doing because they've done it before, but it's just that this time I think a lot of people are really seeing it for what it is. Like I told people, they are prepared to blame black men if this woman loses. It's so blatantly obvious. It's like a blind person can see this coming a mile away. This is why I said I am so over this election. I am ready for it to be over and done with. And what's even crazy is there are black men, based on the responses that I've seen from the polls on both platforms, who are saying, bring it. You know what? I'm ready. I'm not scared. Or we've been catching strays for so long. This is just another one to add into the bucket. It is what it is. And see, they're trying to use that as a scare tactic in order to try to scare black men into voting for this woman. Just like if black man says, oh, I'll vote, then the next question is, oh, for who? None of your business. Oh, you're going to go vote for that man. And if they are, so what? Black men are allowed to go and vote for whoever it is that they want to vote for. It is their vote. If they want to put down that they're voting for goddamn Barney or Ronald McDonald, they can go ahead and do that. They are allowed to do that. We are allowed to do that. As a matter of fact, I know I'm allowed to do that because I already told people what I wrote in on my ballot. I told people on live, I even told people offline what I put on my mail-in ballot. And I stood right behind and by and 10 toes down on what I did. And I am proud of myself for doing that. Why? Because I'm allowed to do that. But see, they want black men to maneuver and move the way they want us to move for them. They want us to be robots. Then you had that piss poor so-called plan that this woman put out there, and we pretty much shut all of that down in the multiple live streams that the New Black Media did on that crap. Remember what happened with Stacey Abrams last year when she was supposed to be talking to black men? First off, where she had them talk, who she was talking to as far as those black men go, and where they were talking at. Not every black man is privy to go there. That's not even the common place that every black man is going to hang out at. And number two, she did it way too late, much like Kamala Harris did with this, way too late. And then we found out, oh, this black men's agenda is not even for just black men, but it's for others. Look at point number 1. It literally said black male entrepreneurs and others. And then it's like, oh, this thing is not just for black men, it's for everybody. There you go. So they couldn't even make that last for this long. They put something out there and then want black men to go and flock and vote for that. No. But like I said, you have all these media outlets coming on here and saying black men need to do this, black men need to. At first it was just almost like an in-house type of thing. Like it was a discussion with black people, but mainstream media is so tricky that they will put that out there on all types of news platforms. Like I can't tell you how many times I've seen CNN and MSNBC talk about it. Even Fox News got in on it, where they're saying, oh, black men need to do this and black men need to do this. Oh, if the black man doesn't do this, then this is going to happen. The reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to plant a seed in the people's heads that if this woman loses, they'll have a target to go after when it happens. Or if it happens, I don't know what the results are going to be. I can't see into the future. But they're doing that as a way to prepare people to go after black men if she loses this election. That's what they're prepared to do. And they have to plant that seed, that thought in people's heads early on, weeks in advance, to let them know, hey, they're the enemy. If she loses, it's their fault. It's not white men's fault. It's not white women's fault. It's not black women's fault. It's not Latinos' fault. It's not Asians' fault. It's the black man. It's his fault. Remember what Obama said, you know, we're not supporting her because she's a woman, or them saying we're not supporting her because she's a black woman. I can't tell you how many times people saying, oh, we're being misogynist and all types. We internalize and hear those things, and we will act accordingly. It's like, okay, you don't get to bully a group of people and think you're going to get something out of the people you just bully. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And I think another reason why they're getting so upset too is because there are black women that are starting to really listen. Their ears are perking up to black men and what we've been saying about this whole cycle as a whole, but especially with her for a while now, and they're scared of that. You've seen some of the videos from black women push back against Obama and what he has said as far as pertaining to black women, and they were not expecting that. That completely, in my opinion, probably blindsided the hell out of them, and they don't know what to do. So they're scrambling right now. It is October 19th. The election is about 2.5 weeks away from the time of me recording this video. That time will be here before we know it, and they don't know what to do. Well, here's the thing. Y'all should have acted on this years ago, but you didn't. You constantly ignored, and now you're in the predicament that you are in now. If she wins, hey, it is what it is. If she loses, hey, it is what it is again. But like I said, black men out there, be prepared, because I'm telling you right now, they are ready to come with them daggers. I'm seeing it play out in my head right now, and you know what? You know what I say to that? I say, bring it. Bring it. Really. We are ready. I'm ready, because guess what? I'm gonna probably just end up laughing. I wouldn't get mad or upset. I'd be laughing at some of the comments that people be leaving as it pertains to black men not supporting this woman. I laugh at them because it's like y'all are going off of emotion. That's all it really is. This is politics. This is not time to, throw tantrums and all this, that, and the third. If you're not meeting us where we want us to be met, then we're not meeting you at the poll. That simple as that.
But wait, there's more.
One of my subscribers actually sent me this. They sent this to me in a DM, and they said, how ironic is that I made a poll about what I talked about in this video and showing y'all these results. And literally not that far after this, you had this man by the name of Jamal Bryant, who was a pastor down in Georgia, speak in the same tone as Barack Obama, Magic Johnson, as it came to talking about black men. And I want y'all to listen to the nonsense that comes out of this man's mouth. It's going to make you shake your head even more, which is why it further proves I truly believe black men are going to catch the most strays if this woman loses this election.
You said something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister.
Yeah. Full stop.
And Mordecai was man enough to know that in order for me to be a man, I got to know how to support a woman. Something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister. It was a sister that raised you. It was a sister that taught you how to read. It was a sister that taught you how to bathe yourself.
In the context of the vice president, were you trying to send a message?
That we've got to be able to vote, that misogyny is still real in our community. We've got to address it head on and not act like it doesn't exist. The reality is, if black men had voted, Stacey Abrams would be a governor. And so I think that we've got to do some real redress. That after racism, the biggest ill in America is sexism. And I think it's part of the responsibility of this generation to deal with it head on.
So y'all just heard that bullshit, and that's exactly what it is. Like, many of you probably wouldn't even know who this guy is. Of course, if y'all live in Georgia, you might have heard of him. This is my first time hearing about him, and he's basically preaching at his church. And mind you, when he said all of this, this is when Kamala Harris had went to that church. I believe he's the pastor of that church, and she was there, trying to mix and mingle with the common folk, right ahead of the election, to get those votes, because she's probably get it in now, because she probably ain't gonna do it again. And he went in there and said the same exact thing in the same vein that Barack Obama did, that, the brothers ain't supporting the sisters, or we're not supporting Kamala Harris because, she's a woman. And it's like, y'all still don't get it. It has nothing to do with her gender. It has nothing to do with her being a woman. If she actually listened to what we wanted as policies, and she actually was to act on it or say that that's what she was going to do and it was set in stone, we would have no problem supporting her. But they keep bringing up the misogyny angle, and that's how you know they're losing. This is how you know they're losing, when they have to do stuff like that. Then he says, right after racism is sexism. And he said if black men would have supported Stacey Abrams, she would have won. It's like, do y'all not know how to read these damn exit polls and see who's some of the biggest supporters of the Democratic Party overall as a collective? And it's like we see the shaming language and we see the shaming tactics coming a mile away. Now, what's very interesting and why I also brought this dude up is not only simply because of him and what he said right here, which was just absolutely ridiculous and definitely throwing black men under the bus as if he isn't a black man his damn self. But when I was looking through the comments on X under the video, I found out something very interesting. But you know what? I wanted to go and do my own research to see if it was indeed true. And it turns out that this dude was married to this woman who I believe was on one of these housewives shows, and I think her name is Giselle. I don't know her last name. As you can see, that's a picture of him right there with her. And before I go any further, doesn't he kind of look like a great value version of R. Kelly? Like for some reason when I was looking at him in that clip, he kind of looked like R. Kelly, but that's besides the point. So that is a picture of him and his now ex-wife. When I was looking it up, it said that they got married in 2002 and they got a divorce in 2009. And the reason why I'm bringing them up is because this guy is telling the brothers to go out and support a sister, and this guy couldn't even do the proper thing in his marriage, which was to stay faithful and not commit infidelity. Because if you want to know why he's no longer married to his wife, is because he could not stop messing around with other women. What you see on your screen right here is a screenshot from an interview that he did, in which he basically admitted that the reason why him and his wife Giselle got a divorce wasn't because of irreconcilable differences. It was because he cheated on her. And to my knowledge, it wasn't just a one-time fling. He cheated on this woman multiple times. Now, there's some other allegations going along with that, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not to be true, so I'm not going to mention it on here. But one thing we do know for certain is that this dude wasn't faithful in his marriage, but he's going to go out there and wag his finger at black men to go and support this non-black woman that they keep propping up as if she's black. It's just, like I told you, I'm so over this election. I'm ready for it to be over and done with. I can't wait for it to be over and done with, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. This right here is the ultimate pot meat kettle moment right here. I was looking into the comments, people were saying or agreeing with him, or people were saying F him, or saying right message, wrong messenger, or stuff like. It was one of those three type of responses that we saw. But when people found out this dude cheated on his wife, that's when people started to be like, sir, how are you going to wag your finger at black men to go and support this woman who isn't even black or black identified, but you couldn't even stay faithful in your marriage because you couldn't stop hopping from one bed to the next that wasn't your bed at home? Amazing. That's crazy.